Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here, continuing to cook up this NFL, man. Y'all know what we do here on the Jam Session. We cover every single game on the card, man. We've gone through the preseason, through these few weeks in the regular season, and we're going all the way through the Super Bowl, man. So smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, buckle up. And let's make some money, man. I'm super excited about this NFL card. I think it's a great opportunity for us to make some money. If you want my best bets, the plays that I'm most comfortable with, the plays that I personally have the most money on, man, you can find those plays over at Pickdawgz Premium, man. There's a link in the description. Takes you right to my handicapper page there. You can find top plays, long-term packages, however you want to do it. You can do it at Pickdawgz Premium, man. Again, I appreciate every last one of y'all. Let's make some money this weekend, and without further ado, let's talk some NFL. Let's hop right into this week's NFL action. First game of the day, man, we got the Baltimore Ravens facing the Tennessee Titans. We're in London for the third straight week, man. Should be a good one. This line has been on the move all week, man. The Ravens opened up around 4. The line is now at 5.5 currently. I do agree with the line move because I do think the Ravens win this game fairly comfortably. Getting it under 6 I think is a solid place to be. I would lay 6, 7 points with the Ravens. I think they win by a touchdown plus. Last week, I understand they did not look very well against the Steelers. A lot of drop passes from guys like Aguilar, Bateman, Zay Flowers, Andrews. It was just not a good week. But if you know anything about that Ravens-Steelers series, those games typically always look like that. So I'm not going to put too much stock into that. I'm expecting a bounce back for the Ravens, the better team in my opinion, on the road. When I just look at team for team, roster for roster, player for player, I think we all can agree that the Ravens are the better team. The Tennessee Titans, we have seen them look good in certain spots and terrible in others. The spots we've seen them look good was at home against the Chargers, against the Bengals. Their 3 losses are all on the road. New Orleans, Cleveland, Indianapolis, and now not only are they on the road, they're out of the country, man. They're across the pond. They're in London, early start time. I know Mike Vrabel is usually very profitable in these underdog roles type games. I don't think that's the case here today. I think the Ravens defensively can replicate some of those things that the Browns did. And I think that the Ravens bounce back this week and win this game comfortably over in London, man. London favorites have been pretty profitable. And I think we cash another one here. I'm going to lay the points with the Ravens as I think they beat up on the Titans across the pond in a bounce back spot. In our next game, we got the Washington Commanders out on the road facing the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons favored was 2.5. I'm seeing 2 currently at the time of recording this video, and I am taking the Atlanta Falcons. Desmond Ridder has yet to lose a home game as a starting quarterback in college or the NFL. They have not lost in Atlanta yet since he's been in the league, and he's been the starter, and I don't see them losing here, man. The Washington Commanders got out to a solid start, 2-0. Since then, they've lost all 3 games, and last week was just about as bad as it gets. And when I go back and look at those 2 wins that they got early in the season, they were against 2 teams that I think are bottom 5 in the NFL, the Broncos and the Cardinals. We saw them get smashed by another bottom 5 team last week in the Chicago Bears. Is this a buy low spot? Some people might tell you that it is. I'm not going to be one of those people. I think the Falcons are in another prime position to stack another home win. We saw them stack one last week. I just think that they're running the football will be a little too much for the Commanders. I think that Desmond Ridder is the better game manager. And I think when this one's all said and done, the Falcons kind of win this game in ugly fashion like we saw them do last week. I'm not buying low here on the Washington Commanders. You lose like that to the Bears, you can definitely get beat pretty bad by this Atlanta Falcons team. Again, Desmond Ridder has not lost a game in college or in the NFL as the home team, man. I think he stacks another win here. Commanders got to show me something before I try to get back on that team and make some money on them. The Falcons, I know they're not the best ATS thus far this year, but they do stack wins at 3-2. I think they get the 4-2 today. I'm going to lay the points with Atlanta at the crib. Next game up, we got the Seattle Seahawks out on the road facing the Cincinnati Bengals. This line has now gone up. I see 3s all over the place. If you see a 2.5 pop up, take the 2.5. I love the 2.5 way better than I love the 3 under the key number. I think that those points may factor. I would still look at laying the points with the Cincinnati Bengals, though I think they win the game 24-20. That's how I got this game shaken out. I think the Bengals are the better team. I question the Seattle Seahawks level of competition. I know they have the better record at 3-1. But the Giants, Carolina, their best win was against the Lions on the road. Really solid win. Can't knock them for that. Lost to the Rams at the crib. I just think it's time to sell on the Seattle Seahawks, and I think it's the time to buy low on the Cincinnati Bengals. We saw the Bengals do the exact same thing last year. They started the season off extremely slow, and then we know about how many games they ripped off ATS as the season went along, man. This is a team that is getting healthy. Joe Burrow, we know, missed training camp with the calf injury. We are now seeing him more comfortable in the pocket, being able to actually apply pressure to that back leg and let the ball go. We saw that last week with Jamar Chase having such a big game, and I think we can see some of those same things replicated here this week, man. I'm worried about the Seattle defense in this game. Selling high on the Seattle Seahawks. I'm buying low on the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're poised to do what they did last year, go on an absolute tear after they started the season off slow. Give me the Bengals. I love it at 2.5. At 3, I like it. But if you can find the 2.5, grab the 2.5. Next game up, we got a division battle, man. We got the Indianapolis Colts out on the road facing the Jacksonville Jaguars, a.k.a. the London Jags. I call them that, man, because they love playing over there. They just played back-to-back weeks over in London, got dubs in both, beat the Falcons, beat the Buffalo Bills, and kind of how I talked about Seattle in that last game, same thing I think about the Jags. I think this is a sell high spot. I'm taking the Indianapolis Colts plus the points. I just think it's a terrible spot for the Jags, quite honestly. Having to come back home, like I said, spent 2 weeks over there in London, and the Jags, quite honestly, just don't play all that well in these division games. They just don't. And I think the Colts, many people think that they're going to take a step backwards, losing Anthony Richardson. He is now on IR. I'm not one of those. I think Gardner Minshew is probably the best backup in the NFL. We've already seen him play a substantial amount of time this season because Anthony Richardson can't stay healthy. And when he's been in there, he's looked good. And I think he does enough to keep the Colts within this number, if not win it outright. This is just how this division always plays out. If you know, you know. I think the Colts have a legitimate shot to go into Jacksonville and beat these boys straight up. Again, I hate the spot for Jacksonville. Coming home after 2 weeks straight in London, this just yells flat spot. It yells trap. I'm taking the road underdog. I'm taking the backup quarterback. I'm taking the Indianapolis Colts, a sneaky team flying under the radar. I think they do enough to keep this one within the number or win it outright. Give me the Colts. Next game up, we got the Carolina Panthers out on the road facing the Miami Dolphins, man. The Dolphins are now laying 14.5 points. That is the biggest spread we've seen thus far this season, and that's a lot of lumber to lay, man. When I just go back and look at this game, I know the Panthers are the worst team in the NFL at 0-5. They've played 5 games. They've only been beaten by this margin, 14.5, once thus far this season, though. They lost to Atlanta by 14. If they lost by 14 here, they would cover. And then we know they got aired out last week on the road by the Detroit Lions, 42-24. The Dolphins, we saw them beat up on the Giants last week, 31-16. And we know the points they put up on the Broncos, 70-20 was the final score in that one. But there's 3 games where they won by 2, won by 7, and then one of those they lost by 28. It's a lot of lumber to lay, man. I'm probably personally going to stay away from this game. I'm not touching the Carolina Panthers. I'm not. I cannot. But I don't want to lay over 2 touchdowns in an NFL game either. I lean in the direction of the Miami Dolphins. I do think they can blow out this Carolina Panthers team, but I just think there's better places to be on the board than laying 2 touchdowns and some as a professional. So that's my thoughts. Lean to the Dolphins, but me personally, I'm staying off of this one. In our next matchup, man, we got the Minnesota Vikings out on the road facing the Chicago Bears. This one's short, sweet, and simple for me, man. I'm continuing to do what I love doing, and that's fading the Chicago team. I know they got a huge win last week, their first one in, 17 games over the Washington Commanders. that's not enough to sway me in the direction of the Bears, man. We talked about the Commanders earlier. Their only two wins this season are against the Cardinals and the Broncos, two bottom five teams. I think the Bears are a bottom five team as well. I think the Vikings bounce back and get this one. I know Justin Jefferson is out, going to miss a good amount of time, but I still think Kirk Cousins has plenty of weapons to work with. Addison, Hawkinson. I think that the Vikings win this one, and they probably win it comfortably. The Bears' record the past two seasons speaks for itself, and the win over the Commanders is not enough to sway me. They also lost Khalil Herbert, so the run game won't be what it has been. Justin Fields is a bottom five quarterback in the NFL. He will not be the quarterback of the Chicago Bears next year. I think they're going to be drafting 1 and 2 again this year, the Chicago Bears. They got a good win last week. Not enough to say they keep it rolling. Taking Minnesota. I think they win comfortably. Here it is. Next game up, man. We got the best team in football. The San Francisco 49ers out on the road facing the Cleveland Browns. The Browns will be without their starting quarterback, Deshaun Watson. That is why we have seen the line now skyrocket up to 9.5 for the 49ers. I'm not looking at a side in this one. I'm actually going to look at the total. The total came down to 36 with P.J. Walker getting the start. And I'm still going underneath the total of 36. I am. I think the best two units in this football game are the defenses. We saw how good the Niners defense was last weekend, holding a good Dallas offense to only 10 points. You can say what you want to say about that Dallas offense, but at pure points per game, the past 3 seasons, the Cowboys have been top 5. I don't even have to go look. I know they've been top 5. They held them to 10 points last week. That is very impressive. On the other side, we've seen this Cleveland defense look really good in spots as well. Held the Cincinnati Bengals to 3 points. Held the Tennessee Titans to 3 points. Held Derrick Henry to only 20 rushing yards in that football game. And I think that sets them up well against an explosive rushing offense like the 49ers have here in this one. I think they'll be able to control the line of scrimmage, slow down some of that running that the Niners are trying to do. And in my head, the way I see this game, I see a lot of running, a lot of clock being chewed, a lot of punts. We're going to look up, and this is going to be a very low-scoring game, and it's going to fall just underneath the total. I don't think P.J. Walker and this Browns offense do much of anything offensively against arguably one of the best defenses in the league in the 49ers. But on the other side, I think that this Browns defense is really underrated, and I think that they're going to have a solid day stopping the run for the Niners, and we're probably going to have to see Purdy try to put the offense on his back, and I'm not sold on him doing that quite yet. Under 36.5 for me here in this one. The total's that low for a reason, and I'm going to take it under. Next game up, we got the New Orleans Saints out on the road facing the Houston Texans. We got the Saints favored by 1.5 on the road. I think this is one of the toughest games on the schedule, and here's why. I don't necessarily know who these two teams are here in Week 6. Are the Saints one of the best teams in the NFC, or are they middle of the pack? Defensively, I think they can hang with some of those top-tier teams. This offense, I'm not sold on them. The Texans coming into the year, I think many people would have told you that they could have beat 32 of 32 in the NFL. One of the worst, if not the worst team in the entire league. I think right now what we've seen from the Texans, there's 5-6 teams that they're better than. So are they closer to middle of the pack than many people thought? It's a tough game. Rather than deal with the side, I'm going to look at the total. I think whoever wins this game wins it in a low-scoring affair, 21-20, as I think how this game shapes out. I can see it going either way in that span. But the reason I think that is I think the best units on both teams is the defenses. Both teams have defensive head coach Dennis Allen. Defense is his thing. DeMeco Ryans, defense is his thing. I think we get a defensive-type football game, 21-20. Either way, I can't call a side, but I do think it will be low-scoring. I'm going to take it as a sneaky under. I think defenses rule the day. Both two defensive head coaches, two defensive football teams. I think we get a defensive-type football game. I'm taking under 42.5. Next game up, we got the New England Patriots out on the road facing the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders laying 3. This is the worst game on the card, man. I don't have a dog in this fight. I will not be betting this game on Sunday, but you know I do cover every single game every week, and I'm going to cover it for you guys. If I had to pick anything in this game, I would probably take the under. The Patriots offense has been terrible the last 2 weeks. 3 points against Dallas, a goose egg last week. Can they score on this Raiders team? Maybe. Would I want to bet that they do so? No. I think that they probably continue to struggle like we've seen them do. The problem with that is Bill Belichick usually beats up on the guys that left his coaching tree. So, I could see the Patriots finally bouncing back, figuring something out, and beating this Raiders team. I think Josh McDaniels is one of the worst coaches in the NFL. Does this team have a lot of talent in the Las Vegas Raiders? Yes. Do they find ways to lose more often than not? Yes. Do I want to have money on this game? Hell no. Will I have money on this game? Of course not. So that's my thought process here in this one. If I had to take a side, I would probably take the Patriots plus the 3. They have to show up here or their season's over, but I think it's over anyway. So no dog in this fight for me. Lean toward the under, lean towards the Patriots again. Me personally, I promise you right here, right now, I'm not betting this game tomorrow. Next game up, we got the Detroit Lions out on the road facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lions favored on the road, laying 3. This is an interesting game. Are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a good football team? There's some things that suggest yes, and there's some things that suggest no. They put up 26 points on the Saints. We talked about the Saints earlier. That Saints defense has been playing all out, man. The only team that scored more than 20 on them in the past 15 games is Baker Mayfield and that Tampa Bay offense last time out. But they did not look good against Philadelphia in that standalone game. I watched that entire football game. I was not encouraged by what I saw there. And their other 2 wins are against teams that only have 1 win, the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. So I'm not quite sure who this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is at this current time of the season. And I could kind of say the same thing about the Lions. The Lions' level of competition has not been that great. Panthers, worst team in the NFL. Green Bay, a bottom tier team. Atlanta, middle of the pack. Seattle, middle of the pack. And then beat the Chiefs on the road without Kelsey, first game of the season. Who are these 2 teams? These are 2 teams that did not make the postseason last year. Take that back. The Bucs did make the postseason last year, but got beat in the first round by Dallas. Baker Mayfield's their quarterback. It's a tough game. I'm going to take the Bucs here plus the 3. I just think getting the home dog at 3, a key number, is where I would rather be. Are the Lions the better team? Right now, currently, I would say so. I currently have the Lions number 5 in my power rankings, but I don't want to lay 3 on the road, man. I just don't. Again, I think there's better places to be. I think the Bucs have shown some encouraging signs this season. If their offense can put up 26 on the Saints, I think their offense can definitely keep up scoring here with the Lions. I think that makes this game super competitive, and we'll see how it shakes out in the end. I'm going to take the Bucs plus the 3, the home dog. I think those points are very valuable, and I think we're going to learn a lot about these 2 teams moving forward after this game today. Next game up, we got the Arizona Cardinals out on the road facing the Los Angeles Rams. Rams are laying 7 at the crib. This one's pretty easy. I don't think the Rams are 7 points better than the Cardinals. I just don't. The Cardinals have been a good ATS team this year. I could make the argument that they should be 4-1 ATS as the Niners punched it in under 2 minutes to give themselves the cover in their game. I could say that I've seen the Cardinals play really well against teams better than this Los Angeles Rams team. And this is also a division battle. I don't feel comfortable laying the points here with the Rams. Do the Rams win the football game? Probably. Are they the better team? Yeah. Are they 7 points better than the Cardinals? I don't think so. This game to me is 24-20 Los Angeles, and the Cardinals get the cover, man. I think we're now getting the value back on the Arizona Cardinals after 2 weeks of not covering the point spread. I think they compete here in this one. We've seen them compete all year. Give me the Cardinals plus the points in this one. I don't think the Rams are 7 points better than this team. I just don't. Next game up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles out on the road facing the New York Jets. This line is at 6.5 at the time of recording this video, but I do think it probably will be 7 closer to game time. The reason I think that is because both starting corners for the Jets are now out. No Sauce Garner, no DJ Reed, and that's really bad going up against the Eagles team who has two legitimate wideouts, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I took the Jets earlier in the week on the NFL show I shot with Mitch and Big Al McMorty. I've liked what I've seen from the Jets in back-to-back weeks. I think they're getting better as the season progresses. But I'm really nervous now with both of those wideouts out. I lean in that direction, but I'm probably not going to fire it up. Had those guys played, this was going to be a premium for me. I really think the Jets were going to come out here and compete. The Eagles, they just have a gauntlet of a schedule coming up, and it could have been a look-ahead spot and very well still could be. But those two corners, man, that hurts. I think the best unit on the field for the Jets is their defense, and I think a lot of that starts with their play at the cornerback positions. Without two top guys, one is bad enough. Two, that's enough to keep me off this game. I still lean Jets. I lean under in this game as well. I just don't see Zach Wilson and company lighting up this Eagles defense. Will they move the football? Running the ball, yes, but I think it's a lot of time being chewed. I think the Eagles will be able to move the football as well, but ultimately I think a lot of running the football, a lot of clock being chewed, and we fall underneath the total and a small lean to the Jets, man. I'm not overly in love with it like I was earlier in the week with Gardner and Reed out. Sunday Night Football, we got the New York Giants out on the road facing the Buffalo Bills. This one is short, sweet, simple. I want you guys to think of the last time you've seen the New York Giants do anything in primetime football. There you go. You've never seen them do anything. I can't think of the last time I've seen them do anything. We've seen them get blown out time after time this year on primetime, and now they're even more depleted than they were in those games. No Daniel Jones, probably no Saquon Barkley. This game's going to get ugly as well. The Bills, we saw them lose in pretty bad fashion last week. This should be a bounce-back spot for them at home here in this one. They should pick a score in this one. They should win this game by 21 points. I'm laying the points with the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football. Short, sweet, simple. Last game of the week, man, Monday Night Football. We got my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, out on the road facing the Los Angeles Chargers. This game's on my birthday as well, Monday, October 16th. And I'm taking my favorite team. I'm laying the points with the Dallas Cowboys. Here's why, man. Under Mike McCarthy, man, this team has only lost back-to-back games once, and that was in 2020, the first year under Mike McCarthy. Other than that, man, this team has never lost back-to-back under him. Following a loss, they usually always respond, and I'm expecting them to do so here on the road. I think defensively the Cowboys lock in, and they're able to slow down what the Chargers are trying to do, especially knowing the tendencies of the offensive coordinator for the Chargers and Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator who was the guy in Dallas for the past, I want to say like 4 to 5 seasons. So they're accustomed to seeing what he draws up. A lot of curls, a lot of verts. I think this defense will be able to pin its ears back and get to Justin Herbert. On the other side, man, I think Dallas, off such a terrible loss, has a much better game plan, and they're able to run the football on this Chargers defense. They're able to throw the football on this Charger defense, and when it's all said and done, I'm expecting this team to get a bounce-back dub like we've seen them do countless times under Mike McCarthy. When I stack up team for team, roster for roster, player for player, the Cowboys are the better team, and I think they win this one out on the road. Brandon Staley is probably going to have a coaching blunder, and it's probably going to cost his team the game like he does more often than not. I'm taking the Cowboys. I'm laying the points with the better team. I think they win this one on my birthday. And that's going to conclude this episode of my NFL Jam Session. I appreciate every last one of y'all watching this video. Do me a favor. Smash that like button for your guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you're looking for my best bets, the plays that I